ministering women who ministered at the door of the tent of meeting. And he made the court. For the south side, the hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, 100 cubits. The pillars were 20, and their bases 20, of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the north side, 100 cubits. Their pillars 20, their bases 20 of bronze, but the hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the front to the east, 50 cubits. The hangings for one side of the gate were 15 cubits, with 3 pillars and 3 bases. And so for the other side, on this hand and that hand, by the gate of the court were hangings of 15 cubits, with 3 pillars and 3 bases. All the hangings round about the court were of fine twined linen, and the bases for the pillars were of bronze. But the hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. The overlaying of their capitals was also of silver, and all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver. And the screen for the grate of the court was embroidered with needlework in blue and purple and scarlet stuff and fine twined linen. It was 20 cubits long and 5 cubits high in its breadth, corresponding to the hangings of the court. And their pillars were 4. Their 4 bases were of bronze, their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their capitals and their fillets of silver. And all the pegs for the tabernacle and for the court round about were of bronze. Materials for the tabernacle. This is the sum of the things for the tabernacle of the covenant, as they were counted at the commandment of Moses for the work of the Levites under the direction of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel, the son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him was Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, a craftsman and designer and embroiderer in blue and purple and scarlet stuff in fine twined linen. All the gold that was used for the work, in all the construction of the sanctuary, the gold from the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, by the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver from those of the congregation who were numbered was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, by the shekel of the sanctuary. A bekah a head, that is, half a shekel, by the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone who is numbered in the census, from 20 years old and upwards, for 603,550 men. The 100 talents of silver were for casting the bases of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 bases for 100 talents, a talent for a base. And of the 1,775 shekels he made hooks for the pillars, and overlaid their capitals and made fillets for them. And the bronze that was contributed was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. With it he made the bases for the door of the tent of meeting, the bronze altar, and the bronze grating for it, and all the utensils of the altar, the bases round about the court, and the bases of the gate of the court, all the pegs of the tabernacle, and all the pegs round about the court. The book of Leviticus, chapter 26. Rewards for obedience. You shall make for yourselves no idols, and erect no graven image or pillar. And you shall not set up a figured stone in your land to bow down to them, for I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and revere my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and observe my commandments and do them, then I will give you your rains in the season, and the land shall yield its increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and your threshing shall last the time of vintage, and the vintage shall last to the time for sowing. And you shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land securely. And I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will remove evil beasts from your land, and the sword shall not go through your land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall chase 10,000, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. And I will have regard for you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and will confirm my covenant with you. And you shall eat old store long kept, and you shall clear out the old to make way for the new. And I will make my abode among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your God, and you shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that you should not be their slaves, and I have broken the bars of your yoke and made you walk erect. Punishment for disobedience. But if you will not listen to me, and will not do all these commandments, if you spurn my statutes, and if your soul abhors my ordinances, so that you will not do all my commandments, but break my covenant, I will do this to you. I will appoint over you sudden terror, consumption and fever that wastes the eyes and cause life to pine away. And you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. I will set my face against you, and you shall be struck down before your enemies. Those who hate you shall rule over you, and you shall flee when none pursues you. And if in spite of this you will not listen to me, then I will chastise you again sevenfold for your sins, and I will break the pride of your power. And I will make your heavens like iron and your earth like brass, and your strength shall be spent in vain. For your land shall not yield its increase, and the trees of the land shall not yield their fruit. Then if you walk contrary to me and will not listen to me, I will bring more plagues upon you, sevenfold as many as your sins. And I will let loose the wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in number, so that your ways shall be desolate. And if by this discipline you are not turned to me, but walk contrary to me, then I also will walk contrary to you. And I myself will strike you sevenfold for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall execute vengeance for the covenant. And if you gather within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. When I break your staff of bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and shall deliver your bread again by weight. And you shall eat and not be satisfied. And if in spite of this you will not listen to me, but walk contrary to me, then I will walk contrary to you in fury, and chastise you myself sevenfold for your sins. You shall eat the flesh of your sons, and you shall eat the flesh of your daughters. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your incense altars, and cast your dead bodies upon the dead bodies of your idols, and my soul will abhor you. And I will lay your cities waste, and will make your sanctuaries desolate. And I will not smell your pleasing odors. And I will devastate the land so that your enemies who settle in it shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the nations, and I will unsheath the sword after you. And your land shall be a desolation, and your cities shall be a waste. Then the land shall enjoy its Sabbaths as long as it lies desolate, while you are in your enemy's land. Then the land shall rest and enjoy